Gotta be sun smart. Alright, let's go check out some of the bush foods here. So all that you see growing all along the side here, that's what they call in Australia either New Zealand spinach or warrigal greens. So more often you see it by the coast. It grows pretty wild, and it helps to root into the sand and the soil to protect the sand from eroding too much. But it's also edible. You need to cook it because it's high in oxalates. Oh, Doug's here. You get to meet them. The owners. Go say hello. Come and have a look at this berry. This is an orange berry tree. Lycophymus trifoliata, I think they call it. That's another Australian bush food. Really delicious pink berries. Doug might even be able to take us on a little bit of a bush tour.
The history of this place for us starts in November 93. It was an old dry dairy run because this was all farming country, and so this was all covered by lantana and secondary growth and a lot of black wattle and absolute crap. So there was no real biodiversity in it. So in November, we bought it in November, in November 94, but 80 months later we planted these 600 trees of assorted rainforest species just to bring biodiversity back. This needed nature to be cultivated and prepared, so that's what it's done. And then in 96 we planted 600 food trees, which are these, and they're all food trees considered to be part of an emerging bush food industry. So let's go and have a look at a couple of the species.
Perfect. And you've got some native bees as well.
We have native bees here which belong to a neighbour. So you can see here we've lost a lot of these aniseed myrtle, but nature's coming good with some.
Yeah, totally. These look
They're
healthy.
starting. They do. Ignore that, that's the wild asparagus, and I keep rooting that out. That's a dangerous plant because it fruits very readily.
Wild asparagus, is it edible?
I've never tried it and I don't want to because you never get a shoot thick enough. So
Yeah, that's quite thin.
It's called it's part of the asparagus family, I think. This row of trees here, I brought down from Cairns in far north Queensland.
Yeah.
And we planted them, and this tree, it's called the Aconitia acidula.
So you bought it down yourself from Cairns?
Yes, I was up at Cairns for work. I used to work in the government. And I spent the weekend, I darted up to the nursery and ordered, and they trucked down about 50 of these. So this plant actually is from North Queensland.
Bringing far North Queensland to southeast Queensland.
It's survived all right except for the drought. You can see the problem with it. Now, if you smell that leaf, it's got a very rich lemon smell. Crush it. And the fruit, it looks like a white translucent raspberry, and it's the most beautiful lemon flavour.
Oh.
And this one is our most valuable crop. We can sell every kilo we get for $25 a kilo.
What's it called?
It's called lemon aspen.
Oh, that's a lemon aspen.
That's
it. Right.
And when they fruit, come and grab the bucketful. You'll do wonderful things.
When is it? When is the season?
Well, it's supposed to be Easter, but look at them. They're still recovering.
Okay.
They're still recovering from drought, you can see here. I've pruned this one. This is all dead wood. Hopefully we'll get some life.
Yeah.
Because for the first 2 years when we planted, we had a drip irrigation system. And we gave up after that thinking we want this to be driven by natural sustainability. So essentially it's working. The leaves drop, they mulch the ground, microflora and organisms recycle the nutrients into the soil. The only thing we've really missed is water. But the mulch provides some degree of water retention and temperature control in the soil. I mean, all of these should have died after 4 years of drought. They're doing pretty well.
And this one with this leaf?
No, that's the blue almond.
That's the blue almond, so yeah, okay.
The memory's shot.
That's all right.
Now this is, we also believe in self-selling. So this is one of the species of the Davison plums. And you can see this one comes in at Christmas and it's getting ready here.
Oh yeah.
This one flowers on the trunk. And you can see the native bees, you might like to get a close up of that. The native bees are doing wonderful. They're pollinating this. Now, will the fruit develop without rain? Who knows? They're predicting rain in southwest Queensland, so we've got our fingers crossed and praying. Now, you'll see here we've used a polycultural plantation. We've planted different species together. That thing there is another example of the lemon aspen. It hasn't done well in the drought. This one.
Still a bit on the ground.
Now, this is an interesting fruit. I'll try that in a minute.
Oh yeah, everywhere.
And you can see the
Wow, look at the colour when it's dry.
yeah, that's the actual, the turkeys have been eating it. And this is much flesh, it's more seed. It's a very wooden seed.
Vertical plum.
And that's what's left. So you can see they've been chipping away. The only thing usable for us is actually the flesh,
Yeah.
and there isn't much
No,
flesh in the
a lot of
actual
big
fruit.
seed, hey?
Now the indigenous people, I understand, when they would harvest this, they'd bury it in the ground in the heat for a few days, which would ripen the flesh.
Oh.
So yeah, these have been eaten. There's one there with some recoverable flesh.
Oh, yeah.
We're trying to re-establish wildlife corridors. This was all grasses put in by the dairy farm, and we've replaced it all with native grasses. European, we cultivate the soil, we don't protect the soil. His argument is that there's a lot of future in that.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's a growing awareness of happening in that.
Yeah,
Now. So it's good
it
stuff.
feels like it. It feels like now's really the time, especially that we can't travel and people want to relocalise the economy and support what's already going on
But
in
you're
Australia.
already finding what anyone's going to find, that in the supply chain, in any native ingredients, the difficulty is getting quality product when you need it.
That's right.
And chefs are having the same trouble. So this talk about using native grasses is great, but to this extent it's only wishful thinking. Until Sydney Uni actually trials and starts to mass produce and mass harvest, I'm coming, we'll never really get to the point. So it won't be in our lifetime, it might be in yours.
Yeah, true.
Love you and leave you.
Okay.
See you on the
Bye.
4th.
See you on the 4th. I'm
All the
looking
best.
forward to it.
Gotta take Kath
Thank
away
you for
from-
inviting me.
Oh yes.
I'm excited
You've
about
got
it.
to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know about Glen
I'll bring
Barrett.
some bush food, my bush tuck up, my bush kraut.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Labelled and all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got it all. So.
Done. See you then.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Have fun.
Bye.
Just watch for snakes.
Yes.
I found one the other day.
Yes, I will. Got my shoes on.
Right. Let's go.